I-24 News, I'm Sivan Raviv, and these are the latest developments coming to you live from Tel Aviv. Today is day 51 of Israel's war with Hamas. After hours of agonizing delay last night, Hamas finally released 13 Israeli hostages on the second day of its deal with Israel, including 8 children and 5 women. Additionally, 4 Thai nationals were released to Israel as well. Israel received the list of names of the third batch of hostages meant to be released this afternoon. The hostages had spent 50 days in Hamas captivity after being snatched from their homes during the deadliest massacre in Israel's history, in which at least 1,200 people were brutally tortured and murdered on October 7th. One of the conditions which was not met by Hamas was not separating children from their mothers. Among the released hostages overnight was Hila Rotem, who was indeed released without her mother, Raya. Other hostages released included Yahel and Neve Shoam and their mother Adi. Their father Tal was left behind in captivity. Noam and Alma Or were released without their father, Dror. Maya Regev was released without her brother, Itai. Maya was among the wounded and kidnapped from the Nova Music Festival and is currently treated in an Israeli hospital. Here are some of the latest released images in which 9-year-old Emily Hand reunited with her father in Israel and 13-year-old Hila Rotem Shoshani with her uncle after 50 days of captivity. With us now in studio is Dr. Avi Bitzur, head of the Home Front and National Security Studies at Bet Bell Academic College. Thank you, Avi, for coming in. You're seeing these images of hostages being released, and it's a happy moment, certainly for the Israeli public. But there is also sadness that not everyone got out, and some families are left behind.
I think you're very right. First of all, you're so happy to see them released. And on the other side, 200 are still in the capture of Hamas. First and second, I think if you will let me later to speak, we must go on with the warfare that we stopped now, and we know what Hamas is hoping. But to see them like this, to see this little kid run to her uncle because her parents are not here, it's something, something. And this is Israel. And this is the difference between us and others, especially the Hamas. This is this country, but look what is going to happen next. This is what is thinking.
And there was a long delay yesterday and a lot of drama involved with releasing those hostages. Do we know what happened there?
You see, remember that when the both sides spoke about the beginning of the agreement, Israel said 4 days, Hamas said 5 days. If you see now, if he take his time to delay the hours in 1 day, you are going into the 5th day. Believe it or not, I think that in this day they will stay and stuck to the agreement, but they will say, we have more people to release, we want much more days. They want to finish this war. We have to understand it. They want that we stuck in our place, and they will carry on with this sense of, let's say, delayed. Let's say you are not staying by the rules. They say that they believe that the rule is the older, the veteran of the prisoners, of the Palestinians in our prison, must go on first. It is not written nowhere. But they broke the law that said not break families, release them together. Now you yourself show, Sivan, to all the people that watching your show, that are people that went free yesterday, and their fathers and their mothers are still at the prison, at the Hamas. You are not stuck into the agreement. It's not Israel. They want to gain time. They want to gain time. There are, I think, three major subjects that we have to remind all of us. Skip the fact that you and I, and you've said it now, you begin with it. The release of the hostage is first my priority for Israel. But there is the priority of carrying on this war to crush the head of the snake who is Hamas, they want to stop, and they know what they are doing. First of all, the army is now standing, is doing nothing. 2 days, 3 days, let's say 10 days. It's plenty of time that the army will not be flexible and will jump and begin what he has done till now, first. Second, you see what happened all around the world, and you understand that Hamas want to gain the public relations all around the globe to influence USA, to stop this war, finish. I can imagine the headlines tomorrow in the papers, let's say in the Washington or New York. Israel, you have make your revenge, leave it, skip it, finish it. No, we must not. The third thing that I'm most afraid of is the approximately 1 million people of the north of Gaza that ran to the south. If they will try to come back, what we will do? Fire them. If we will let them, there will be plenty of people, let's say innocent Palestinians, between our tanks and our soldiers and our troopers, how we can carry on this war. And the other priority of this war is not only the captures and the kidnaps, the hostages. The second is to crush the Hamas. You cannot live as a nation with such a snake, and we must realize it.
Indeed, to capture Hamas militants, terrorists, the heads of the organization, and destroy its capabilities. Now, it appeared like Hamas yesterday was very much in control of what was happening. It's not as defeated as Israel thought.
Look, they gain what they pray for. They are still at Khan Yunis and Rafiah, okay? They are still alive. Sorry that I'm speaking like I'm going and kill people every day. No, but they're still alive. And they understand very well who we are. This is the resilience of society. I spoke in your show about it. The resilience. We are not there. We are not there, and I know why. I know why. You can ask me, Avi, if it was your kid, what you have done. I was there in the square, and I was screaming, and I want to let my boy free. And they're playing with us. They're playing in every inch of our soul. They understand us very well. You know what? They're in control now. Okay. I'm skipping my pride as a macho military Israeli, let's say, suppose. I want that we will say it sharp and clear. When it will finish this going on with the people who are free, we are coming back to the war. We will not leave. We will not stop. Sorry to say, they understand it too because of that. I will not be surprised if the Qatar airplane, yes, that yesterday was in Tel Aviv, and there were negotiations. They did not speak about these 53 hostages that we want to release. They spoke about other.
About what's next?
What next? And they will say, you know what? We will free 100. 10 a day, 10 in 2 days. We want 3 days of ceasefire for this 20 or 30. So our army will stand in the position I said and described, sorry to say, in a very, very bad condition, because we began with freeing the hostages, and it's important, and it's a command. We must carry on, and they will use it, sorry to say.
Stay with us, Dr. Bitzur. Joining us from the Tel Aviv's Square for the families of hostages is our I-24 news correspondent, Robert Swift. Robert, what are we seeing happening at the Square now?
there's more and more people coming here as family members and just Israelis who feel a connection to the events that are taking place are starting to arrive here in larger numbers. There's coaches of groups of teenagers arriving as well, and many of the people are wandering around here looking at the posters of the hostages, those still remaining in Gaza, and looking over the different art displays that are here, the memorials, both memorials of a visual nature. There's various pieces of artwork that have been put up, but also musical and group activity. There's just a short while ago there was a
Robert,
group
thank you. We need to now move on to the hospital. Robert, thank you very much. We need to move on to the hospital. The director of Safra Children's Hospital at Sheba Medical Center, Professor Itai Pesach, is now giving an update on the conditions of the hostages. Let's listen in.
Where we as an organization had the amazing privilege of being able to treat our brothers and sisters, our children that have been kept captive by the Hamas. In the last few weeks, the Edmond Elili Safra Children's Hospital, together with the whole Sheba Medical Center, has been preparing for this opportunity. We've gathered the best professionals and trained them. We learned a lot. We consulted with our peers and with the Israeli Ministry of Health and tried to prepare to be able to give those that were kept captive any care and attention they might need when this fortunate event where they are released happens. And indeed, last night, after a very confusing and stressful period, at around 3:30 a.m., we received these 12 captives, children and women that came back. They underwent a medical evaluation and a psychological evaluation. I'm happy to say that despite the fact that the harsh conditions they have been under and the experience of captivity, they did not require any emergent medical intervention. We will keep them here at the Edmond Elili Safra Children's Hospital for as long as they need and care for them, help them in their preparation of coming back to their communities. Some of them have no homes to come back to, but they have a very significant and supporting community that will embrace them as the whole nation embraces them when they come back. On a personal note, this is a pediatric hospital. We have a lot of emotional and significant days here, caring for children from all over. I've been doing this for many years, and I have to tell you that this past night was one of the most significant evenings and nights for me, and I feel privileged to have gotten the opportunity to be here for these children and their families. I think I share this with the other members of the team. We've been here for many hours, and I think no team member has left. They all stay trying to care for these people, to these children. They are only a very, very small part of the people that are kept captive by Hamas. We pray together with the whole nation, and I think with the world, for the early release of the rest of the captives. There are children there, there are women there, there are elderly people there, there are women and men, and we are ready to treat them as they come back, hopefully very soon. I want to thank the Israeli Ministry of Health that supported us and our collaborators in the IDF and the other organizations that all came together in order to bring these people home and provide some hope to them and to the Israeli nation. Thank you very much.
That was Professor Itai Pesach of the Safra Children's Hospital at Sheba Medical Center. On the whole, the hostages who were released are in good condition, though some of these hostages have lost families and have lost their homes, and so the road to healing is a long one. There are 14 Thai hostages and 1 Filipino hostage who were also released into Israel without conditions and are now being looked after at the Shamir Medical Center. Here's an update from the director of that center.
Hello, my name is Dr. Osnat Lev-Tzion Korach. I'm the CEO of Shamir Asaf Ofer Medical Center. We received 15 hostages, 14 from Thailand, 1 from the Filipino. They're in stable condition and they're improving. They get here all the coverage, all the medical, nursing, and dietitian and mental care that they need. They're very happy to be here, and we're very happy that we can give them the best care that they need. They don't have families, so we are actually their families. We and the embassies that are here helping us with everything, as well as with translations. We're longing for the rest of all of the hostages to come back home. Thank you.
And back to our I-24 News correspondent, Robert Swift in Tel Aviv. Robert, we were cut off before. Please continue telling us. You were mentioning an artist exhibition.
That's right. Many of the displays here are essentially memorials to the hostages, to those who are still trapped inside Gaza. And we spoke a little earlier with one of the artists who put up a display. Let's take a listen to what she had to say now.
We came this morning to paint the hearts of those who returned yesterday, and this is what we will do in the coming days until the last of the hostages returns to Israel. We will come, paint his heart, and add the yellow hearts every day. And we will celebrate life with them, but we will not leave behind all those who did not return yet. We just pray that everyone will come back and that all hearts will be painted yellow.
So that's just one of the artist displays at the square in Tel Aviv, and we're seeing a lot of solidarity among the families of hostages, those released and those who are not yet released. What can you tell us about that?
That's right. The sentiment coming from many of the families is essentially that it's one thing that their close family relatives have been released, but there are dozens still trapped in captivity in the Gaza Strip, and the feeling among the families and among the wider public appears to very much be the case that while there are any of these hostages remaining, the demands need to continue, that no one family is going to focus in on the release of their relatives, and that it is necessary for Israeli society to continue to focus in on the continued pressure to release those hostages held in the Gaza Strip. This then obviously throws up a conundrum for the Israeli government. There are 2 more days of the ceasefire down on paper. There is a possibility of the ceasefire being continued if additional hostages are to be released by Hamas, but the sentiment coming from the Israeli government and from the heads of the Israeli military is that at the end of the day, the war does need to continue. Hamas needs to be destroyed, and this obviously then will raise the question of what remains of those hostages who are still in captivity once this ceasefire comes to an end.
Thank you very much, Robert Swift in Tel Aviv. Joining us now is Yitzhak Levanon, former Israeli ambassador to Egypt and to the United Nations in Geneva. Thank you for joining.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. After last night's drama and stalling in the release of hostages, finally Egypt stepped in to ensure that the deal will go through, as well as Qatar behind the scenes. Now, this game that was played made them look very bad as well, seeing as they mediated the deal and put their own name on the line. What was Egypt's role in the release last night?
Just to be clear, the game is coming from Hamas, not from Egypt. And Egypt did not step in, only yesterday. Egypt has a pivotal role since a long time. In the past history between us and Hamas and all the wars that we had against this terrorist organization, the Egyptians have succeeded to establish a kind of a leverage on the leaders of Hamas, which help us to help us in order to reach a kind of a ceasefire or the holding of the fire between us and Hamas. So the whole of Egypt is pivotal, and Egypt will continue with that. And what happened yesterday, it was really a shame from Hamas. But let's see that today everything will go smoothly because Egypt is on alert. Because we told her to be on alert for today's exchange of the hostages.
Now, like you say, Egypt is portraying itself as the big mediator, the negotiator. Egyptian television has sole coverage for visuals and footage of the hostage release. Where does this position Egypt in the Arab world, and where does it position Egypt in the Western world?
Well, I think that everybody in the Arab world accept the whole of Egypt. In Israel, definitely, yes. I don't want to make the competition between Egypt and Qatar, but definitely in my eyes, and so somebody, who have lived in Egypt, and I have the contacts with the Egyptians, they are the main negotiators. The Hamas understand this, the Hamas respect the Egyptians, and as I say before, the Egyptians have a certain leverage on Hamas. So I think that Egypt is perceived in the Arab world and now in the world, in the United States and Europe, as the country who can play a pivotal role in order to bring now the hostages and later on probably a kind of understanding. I would like, this is a personal wish, I would like that after the war, if we can see a more active role of Egypt in Gaza. But this, we have to leave it for discussions after that we'll finish the job.
Now, might it be that some of the Arab world is indeed in favor of Israel defeating Hamas?
Yes, look, everybody knows that Hamas cannot continue to be there. Everybody knows that what Hamas did, it not only on October the 7th, but much, much before that. The constructions, abusing the money given by the world and the atrocity they did. Look, everybody would like to see the Hamas stepping down, or let's say that politically speaking and militarily for sure will not be active at all in Gaza, and probably something else will emerge in Gaza for the best of the Palestinians living in Gaza. I think in this regard, we will see a more active role of Egypt because Egypt is interested of having a stable, quiet neighbor to Sinai and to the Egyptian country. I think they will continue to play this important role that they are doing now.
Thank you very much. Itzhak Lebanon, thanks for joining and for your input.
Thank you.
And back in studio with me is Dr. Avi Bitzur. We're hearing that Hamas confirmed the death of a number of senior military commanders before the ceasefire, including the commander of the Northern Brigade. What do we know about this?
We know it, from human rights people that we have inside, from the intelligence side, I believe. And we can see it by what we are seeing from the air. And it's important. If we can crush their leaders, it's something that I think will make us very happy. Okay, and I mean it, very happy. I'm happy about the refugees. I'm happy about everything, but again and again, we cannot stop this war. We cannot stop before crushing the Hamas because, and you know it very well, if we had another 1 hour to speak about the Houthis, that we have a bill with them, about Hezbollah, that we have to speak about them, I mean, and don't forget Iran, and we will have to deal with Iran. In Gaza Strip, there must be a place that may be, and let me be optimistic, okay? Maybe from these ashes of everybody, especially us, we can raise up. I mean about the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip and Judea and Samaria. I think about us. We know what was wrong in us. We will know everything and we'll fix it, I believe. And I believe we still find ourselves against Hezbollah and against others. And maybe we will live on our sword forever. I don't know. We must deal with it, and we must go on. And again, resilience, immunity, stability of a nation. We must have it. We must, or we will break up, and we are not going to be break up.
Now, we saw the kind of delay, the games, the drama of last night. Should we be expecting additional drama like that today?
Yes. Yes, for sure. I'm not Hamas, and I'm not prophet. But Hamas he wants to gain time in every way you can think about, okay? The second refugee you want, she's 39, she's not old. Let's say, presume. They will do everything, and I believe it. We must stick to the plan, stick to the agreement, go on, and wait till it finish, and continue and renew the war. You must destroy Hamas. We must.
Renew the war. That's what you're saying. Thank you very much for joining. That's all for this edition of I-24 News. We have rolling coverage providing you with the latest from Israel. I'm Sivan Raviv. Thank you for watching.